It's Saturday, July 9th at about 6:30 a.m. in the morning. I thought I'd come out to show you my flying saucer garden here out in front of the house. It's quite a beautiful looking display of saucer flowers right now. I've been waiting for years for these to bloom, and this is the first year they've actually bloomed. A very rare plant. You can hardly find it anymore, but aren't these beautiful flowers? Just gorgeous. Of course, I only jest. The reason I've put these picnic plates on the stems of these lilies is to prevent chipmunks from climbing up the stems and chewing off the blooms. I've got one local chipmunk that lives here that just loves these things. There's the little monkey. At it again. He's on the lilies that have already had their buds removed. But he's searching. This is the side that I don't have the plates on. You can see the tops of these lilies have had all their buds removed, and I've seen them on the ground chewing them up. They're probably delicious and very nutritious, I suspect. But this little monkey has stolen these blooms, I think, for the last 3 years. I haven't seen any. So this is the only idea I've come up with, and I've just put them on today. So I don't know if they're going to be successful. I've just used paper plates. Now, ideally, I would have used foam to prevent them from rotting in the rain. Now, hopefully, these will stand up a little bit, but I don't know. And I've just cut a slice halfway or to the center of the plate with a little cross cut in the middle to allow the paper plate to mold around the stem. And where the lilies are beside each other, I've tried to ensure that the plates are at the same level, so he can't climb up higher on one and then jump to the other above the other plate. Now, there's probably a few cases where he can do that here still. And I guess we'll see what the IQ of a chipmunk is, because if he gets around all these plates, then I think they must be pretty smart little characters. And I'm pretty certain of that fact already. When you watch chipmunks for any length of time, you realize they are thinkers. I've scared this guy away a few times. I do see some weaknesses in my plan already. For example, he can climb up this structure here and jump over to the lilies. But it's hard to negate every strategy that he might employ. We'll just have to do our best and hope for the best, I guess. Well, just as I suspected, the lilies that are close to this stand over here, I just saw him go up the stand and jumped right over to this lily and started chewing off the buds. So I don't know if there's any hope for these lilies either. Unless I rip that stand out of there, but it's got the big trumpet vine on it, which would be hard to get out anyhow. These tiger lilies have quite thick, stiff stems, so they support his weight easily. He can climb right up them typically. Now, if that stand wasn't there, it might be a bit trickier for him to do this, but it didn't take him long to figure that out. He'll probably be able to hop just from the stand over onto one lily and then onto another and to another until he gets them all clipped off. Now, I know some people will say, oh, why don't you just get the gun out and shoot them or trap them? I believe in live and let live, unless you're being severely threatened, I guess, by something. But I've actually put out alternate food for the last few days, and I think that has slowed them down. But for whatever reason yesterday, was when he seemed to have cleaned off all these other lilies over this side. So I'm hoping these ones here will remain so I can at least get to enjoy some of their flowers before he chews away at them. Such are the dilemmas of the lonely flower gardener. So many dilemmas, so many dilemmas. So I've come out with a peace offering for the chipmunk. I've got a handful of almonds and pumpkin seeds here. And I've done this for a few days now. And it seems to hold him off for a while. But then once he's finished for a few hours, he seems to start attacking my tiger lilies again. But this is the only solution I've found that works to any degree at all. So I'm gonna leave my peace offering here on the ground. Okay. Promise not to eat any more lilies. And you can have these almonds and pumpkin seeds. So yes, the little creature just comes in here, up this stand here, jumps over to the lilies. He's already clipped off these ones now, just since I put these plates on. You can see the plate down here for this one. Did no good at all. I don't know how to beat the chipmunk. So I've taken it upon myself to wrap the base of this stand here with some plastic sheeting, hoping that the chipmunk will not be able to jump across here so easily. Now obviously I should have gone up a bit higher here, but I wrapped a couple sides here that have the lilies so close to them. I may take another sheet and go up one higher actually. Well, there we go. I wrapped 3 sides of this structure where it's at the same height as the lilies. We'll see if that does anything. Probably not. So here I did a better wrapping beside the lilies, right up higher. But I know this is probably going to be futile, all this effort. It's very difficult to beat a chipmunk at his own game. What is his game? Finding food at any cost. Finding food wherever it may be. Deceiving your opponent. Sneaking through the subterranean world to pop out where least expected. These are the rules of the chipmunk war. I still wager a bet that I won't see one of these flowers in bloom. Even though there's still probably 50 or so hanging here. I'm going to go away soon, and I bet you by the time I get back, they'll be all gone. Oh, why do I do this? Why do I do this? In addition to the food I've been putting out, I even put out this nice little hippopotamus bird bath that I bought a few years ago from a local art show. Actually, that Kiwi art show that I profiled a few weeks ago. This is a nice carved stone bird bath. And I've seen them drinking out of this. So it's not just water they need in this time of semi-drought. There's lots of water here. There's obviously something very nutritious about these tiger lily buds. I don't know if they're edible by people. I'd have to check that out. They probably are. If the chipmunks, well, I shouldn't say that. Chipmunks can eat some pretty deadly mushrooms, I think, and we can't, obviously, so I shouldn't say that we would eat these. But actually, I think I do remember that maybe these are edible. I'm not sure. Here, Chippy. Here, Chippy. I got some pumpkin seeds for you. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Hello. Hey, Chippy. Hi, Chip. Those are good, eh? Yeah. Those are good seeds, eh, Chip? Hey, Chippy. Hey, Chip. Hello, Chip. Well, it's Tuesday, July 12th at 9:40 in the morning, a couple days after my last installment on the Tiger Lily episode. Just wanted to update everyone to show how things are going. As is typical with this battle, I usually come out on the losing end. I'll just show you some of the flowers or lack of flowers. So all of these plants that have these white dinner plates around the stems had flowers the other day when I put them on. And there's a few that still do, such as here. But all this group in here have been clipped off. And that's even after I put the shielding up here on this wooden structure so he couldn't climb the structure and just hop out over to these. So he's still coming up. I haven't actually seen the whole progression, but he's still coming up from underneath. And when I say he, there's probably more than one, I'm not sure, but they still come up underneath and either push their way through and around these discs or jump from one to the other. I've tried to place the discs at similar heights. You hear back here, for example, you can see this one has been pushed up, it looks like. So he probably pushes up and then jumps across. Very sad. I was really looking forward to seeing these in bloom. This one here yesterday had beautiful buds on it, still a whole array of buds. You can see he's taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And most of these are gone, a couple here. These ones, 2 are gone for the most part. This one still has some here. This one's still got its full array, but how long for, I doubt very long. This one's got a few. So it's depressing. And yesterday, I guess over the last few days, I looked out of the window frequently, and when I've seen him climbing, I come out and chase him away, and he runs away. He'll run one way or the other, and then an hour or so later I'll look out and he'll be scurrying through here again. So it's just hard to, you can't really watch constantly, and he can sit and look constantly, I guess, and make his move when he wants to. So I suspect before the next few days are out, all of these tiger lily buds will be eaten. And another year will go by where I don't see the tiger lilies. I guess I need to move them maybe to a different location. The last few years in particular, there seem to be a lot of chipmunks around. I guess they're just going through a high cycle. I typically don't mind them at all, and I like seeing them around, but they can be a nuisance once they start chewing on things that you want. There's a number of our other flowers and vegetables that are getting chewed up, and I don't know if it's chipmunks or rabbits or whatever it is. Probably chipmunks, but anyhow, Right now, I think it's safe to say that I'm losing the monk versus man battle, that's for sure. Outsmarted by a chipmunk. I guess that doesn't say much for my intelligence. I may never get a chance to see my tiger lilies in bloom at home, thanks to the chipmunk eating them all, but at least I found some along the road here that seem to be doing fine and are just coming into bloom. That's what I should be having at our house, but one by one the chipmunk is eating the buds before they get out even. There's still a few there that I don't know if I'll be able to keep them from eating them or not. They're so pretty. There's a whole row of them here just growing along the roadside. So I've actually managed to get a few of these tiger lilies out in bloom, as you can see here. A few flowers. So that's something. Just tried to keep the chipmunk fed with other things here, and he seems to have lost interest in these flowers to some degree, so that's one tact you can take. So it's Tuesday, August 16th at 7 a.m. I just wanted to say a few final words about this whole episode. Shortly after beginning this video, I actually discovered that this particular chipmunk has a hole right in the garden here. So his home is here, and I don't think I covered that in the video, so I just wanted to state that up front. So he lives here, and he was just always here. That's why he posed a bit more of a threat than normal to the flowers than just chipmunks passing through, for example. So that's why I actually started to feed him a bit, thinking that if he's fed fairly well, then he probably will lose interest in the flowers, and provided water as well in case he was going after the buds for a water source. And in the end, it did prove useful to do that. Yes, he did eat quite a few of the buds, probably, I don't know, 70% of them. But in the end, there were some remaining. I think the plate idea around the stems did work to a degree. Obviously, he was very good at getting around them, and what he did do in most cases, and I saw him doing this, I just didn't capture it on film, is he would push the plate up on one side and then jump across, or mainly just jumping across to another flower. So they're smart. They know how to get to things when they want them. And though I've portrayed this as a battle or a war at times in the video, there was no battle. The main thing I ever did was come out, before I knew he lived here, I came out a few times and chased him away, hoping that a rapid chase might scare him away for good, but obviously he lived here. My view in these situations is, obviously it's nice to have the things bloom and be able to enjoy them, but they're not critical to my life, so I'm not going to come out and attack the thing or remove it or kill it. So I'm not going to do that kind of effort just to possibly see a few blooms. Obviously too, I have to remember that I'm really the recent arrival in this area. These guys have been living here for thousands of years, since the last glacial period, so in reality they have a much stronger right to this land than I do. I'm just a relative of long ago immigrants that came to this land and basically invaded it, you could say, from another country. So I always try to keep those bigger pictures in mind when I'm making or having thoughts about changing things or altering things where I live, that type of thing. I really do believe in live and let live, to the degree possible. I know there are times when you might have to take action to get rid of things, but whether it's alien plants or a particular species of creature that is just posing a threat to your safety or your well-being. So I'm aware of those situations, but for the most part I always try to live in peace with the surrounding creatures and surrounding habitats and that kind of thing. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed that. It's been a fun episode, and when you live in the country you have lots of these kinds of episodes where you're dealing or trying to maneuver around existing issues or existing creatures or what have you. It is a constant sort of little battle that goes on just to try and accommodate things you want to see versus the way nature is taking it or whatever. So it's fun, and it can be a challenge, and there aren't always good clear answers. Anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed that. Thanks for watching.